congratulations. The defence rumbles on, but as you just come in there, you thought you were a little bit lucky tonight.
Yeah, I not lucky, but in a way, I don't know what the best word to say, but yeah, I felt very maybe fortunate. That third set, well, I stole it, to be honest. I felt like I threw away the second set, especially the first leg. I just give that away, and then I had a good second leg, and Jonny won that one, and the third leg I did well again. I'm thinking, you could have been in control here. I feel like sometimes I give away them sets too easy. I need to fight harder with them. But yeah, after I won the third set, it was I think I played better in the fourth set, but I just tried too hard tonight. That was it. It's an honest opinion. I just tried too hard.
Every time you've come in here, you've said, I haven't done this particularly well. I can do this better. I can do that better. But you're in another semi-final without playing anywhere near your A game. You must be able to take confidence from that fact that you're now scrapping your way to victories.
Definitely, I think you can play as bad as you want, but as long as you're winning, that's what matters, isn't it? I could sit in here tomorrow and then sit in here Sunday, and I could average 82 and 78. But if I'm picking the title up, that's all I care about, But of course, I just expect so much from myself. Sometimes I get frustrated. My doubling in was probably the worst it's been in the last year and this year. That was probably the worst performance doubling in, but I got away with it. So I'll now be back tomorrow. I know I'm going to have to double in a lot better because obviously Ryan's a great double in here on double 16. So yeah, it's just hard playing a good friend, to be honest. It really is. But you learn from these experiences, and it makes you a stronger person.
It's been a strange week. We've had many people coming in here. Obviously Gary and James singing your praises. We've had Ryan Joyce in here saying you're not just a good player, you're a generational player. Do you feel that people are now overthinking playing Luke Humphries like they did Phil and Michael before? They're like, hang on a minute, this is something special that I know I've got to play well. So maybe you've got an advantage now before the game even starts.
Well, I just think if all these players are going to keep doing this, I can, if they're all going to agree with each other, I can create world peace, can't I? You know what I mean? If you've got Gary Anderson and James Wade agreeing with each other, I felt like last night I could create world peace. But their opinions are obviously really amazing. They fill me with great confidence. There's two absolute legends of the game. Obviously, everyone knows I'm really good friends with James, and I get on well with Gary. But I'm not influenced what they've said. They just I guess they want a lot more from me. I think I watched James's one. I didn't see Gary's, but I watched James' one yesterday, and obviously he said I could be the second. No, probably not. Phil and Michael will always be above me, but he has a point. Of course, it's been a great journey for me, and I'm just happy to win titles. I don't look into too much, of what the media say. Sometimes the media can be cruel to not people in this room. The papers and the clickbait headlines that they put about you. If they put me in the news outlets a lot more, it could be a lot worse me and maybe depress me even more. So, I don't really care that much, to be honest. It's just nice that I take away from what I've seen the last 2 days. Two great professionals who I look up to that have given me credit, that makes me feel good inside. And if you'd have told me 10 years ago, Gary Anderson and James Wade were saying these incredible things about you, I would have laughed at you. It would have been an absolute joke for me. So, yeah, it's really great, to be honest. It really is nice, and I'm just trying my best to build this sport into a good place. Obviously there's so many great players out there. I just want to be a part of them great players, and build the sport into a great spectacle and give the fans what they want. That's all I care about.
Luke, many congratulations.
Thank you, Phil.
Luke, how does it feel to get that acclaim and respect from top professionals like James and Gary?
Yeah, it feels fantastic. It really does. It fills you with confidence. It fills you with joy. Obviously, like I said, I get along well with them both anyway, but for them to they don't have to say it, they don't need to say it, but they do, and it's fantastic, to be honest. It's two legends of the game, two players I look up to and respect a lot, and they say these lovely things about it. Obviously it means a lot, so it's really nice.
Do you feel that your achievements over the last 12 months have been properly recognised?
I do, yeah, I do, by the players, for sure. I think if you got the likes of them two saying these things about me, then of course, yeah, I think them players respect it. They know how hard it is to achieve what I've achieved, and I think they just want to give me a little bit of respect, and I think that's just really lovely, But I think we're all, like they said about embracing. I think the media just need to embrace the sport, not just me or Luke or Michael, or just embrace the sport. It's in such a great place, and I'm pushing the boundaries for everyone, making everyone work harder and try harder and play better, because if I do that, then it makes everyone want to be better, and if everyone is better, then this sport's in a fantastic place.
And just on the game tomorrow, Ryan Joyce, what have you made of how Ryan has performed this week, and what sort of game are you expecting?
I think he's been fantastic. Under pressure, he's been great. So, a lot of people's going to think I'm going to take him for granted, but I won't, because I know that he's double 16 particularly. I've played him a lot of times, and I know it's sometimes really, really good. So I won't take him for granted at all. But of course, first to five will bode in my favour. I enjoy the longer format. I can reel off and play well for long periods of time. I think we've seen that over the last 12 months. So it will help in my favour. But of course, if I'm not getting in and he's getting in and scoring, then it's not going to do well for me. So of course, my doubling has to be better tomorrow to make sure that it's a good game.
Cheers, Luke.
Thank you.
Luke, you were saying earlier that best of five still feels pretty cutthroat, but obviously, as you mentioned there, it goes up to best of nine tomorrow. How much do you think that weighs in your favour against Ryan, who's not been in these situations before?
Yeah, it does. It goes into my favour because I'm used to these long games. Ryan's not. I think he's had a couple of
World Cup final.
Yeah, is it one or two? One, yeah. So he has experienced a game, but over the last 12 months, I've experienced them long format games so many times. So I know how to deal with them. How long I need to prepare for them, what I need to do in the breaks, all these type of things. So I've got the experience there, but it doesn't mean Ryan can't win. Of course, he's a fantastic player, and you don't get to a major semi-final by luck. I think he's beaten some really good players, so there's nothing to say he can't beat me. I have to be stronger tomorrow. I have to keep my emotions in check and make sure that I don't give him an inch, because if I give him an inch, he'll take a mile from me, and it could be game over very quick. So it's up to me to work hard and get in front of him and put him under pressure.
I believe it was World Mental Health Day yesterday. Obviously something that you've come through during your darts career and during your personal life as well. When you look back at those days and where you are now and what you've achieved, how do you sort of reflect on it?
Yeah, I reflect on it in such a great way, because a lot of my life was very, very different 3 years ago. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, whatever it would have been. But now I'm in a good place. My whole life changed. I've got the best fiance in the world. I've got the best kids in the world, in my eyes anyway. And, I just enjoy life a lot more. And I said I went home on Tuesday, and usually I wouldn't have done that. But, my family is more important than anything to me in the world. And I think that just creates a happy atmosphere for yourself. Makes you happy in your own self. And, I come here with no pressure. I know there is pressure on my shoulders, but I just feel like I come in with no pressure from my family side. Except sometimes my dad, he's always striving for more. He always wants me to win, and that kind of drives me a little bit. To be honest, usually if you've won so many times, he'd be like, all the best, good luck, whatever happens. But he's always there saying, come on, I want more from you. He drives me, and it makes me a better player. So he's still not happy until I've won at least 5 worlds and about 20 majors. So he helps me to be a better player.
Not in a negative way, but they
No.
put a little bit more pressure on you than yourself?
Absolutely not. It's if anybody's going to put pressure on me, it's going to be pressure on myself. It's going to be me. It's all a bit of a joke. I mean, he wants me to do well. He wants me to strive for more. He don't want me to be 5-time major champion. He wants me to be 20 major world champion before I retire. So, of course, that helps me. I don't want someone to be happy that I've won 5 majors. I want him to want me to want more. And that drives me on. I think that's what helps me.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Luke, in that third set, you was 2-0 down to Jonny. He was waiting on 20. He took out a 1-4-6. When you look back at that, could that be one of the most important checkouts that you've ever taken out?
Yeah, it would. I don't know if it's one of the most important. The 1-for-8 last year to win was one of the most important ones I ever took out. But of course, double 8 in the World Championship final was always be the most important. But yeah, if I pick the title up on Sunday, of course I look back to that one and think, that was massive. We was in the back room and obviously watching Rob Cross and that 1-5-6. I thought if he wins the game now, he'll look back on that and think, that was a major point, a major turning point in the game. But Ryan come through that. But yeah, I mean, of course, if I don't take that 1-4-6 out, Jonny would have probably cleaned it up 2-1 down, and who knows what happens. But I hit that 1-4-6, kept myself in the set and managed to nick it.
At the end of last year, it might have been after the slam, you said that you can't win everything, and if you get to a quarter final of a major, it's reasonable. With everything that's come since then, you've won virtually everything. Do expectations change? Is it you're not happy unless you lift the trophy at the end of the week now?
Oh, I mean, I'm always happy, of course, but you never get that satisfaction unless you win. When you've won so much, if I pick up a runners-up trophy on Sunday, of course I'll be happy because I've achieved a major final, but you'll never get that satisfaction now unless you're picking up major tournament wins. That's the only thing that satisfies me. I think that's what makes me that elite player now. I always walk into this walked into this room on Monday, and the only thing that mattered to me was winning the trophy. If I lose in the semis or lose in the final, it's not an achievement. It's a great, I'm happy, but of course it's not an achievement. So for me, if I want to, put my career to levels that the likes of Michael and Phil was ever at, I have to keep winning and keep working hard. So yeah, of course, if I don't win, then of course it won't be as a big achievement as of what I have achieved. But it's something that I definitely want to get on my calendar again, is to win again.
Is that a goal for you when you look at what Michael did when he was at his peak, to try and get anywhere near that? Because he did ridiculous things, but you're on that path.
Yeah, but I just will never ever achieve what they've achieved. I could sit here now, and if I do in 20 years, and then I'd be like incredibly shocked. But I just don't think that's possible. I think the level that Phil was at, the level that Michael was at for 2012 and 2018, when about that time. That I just don't think that'd be matched, to be honest. It's so hard nowadays. I think he nearly won everything in 6 years, and obviously Phil, that just level won't be matched. But of course, I'm just happy to try and achieve as much as I physically can before all these youngsters you see right now, these 11, 12, 13-year-olds are in 100 averages. They're going to be here in 5-6 years. Hopefully I can achieve as much as I can before it's too late.
Cheers, Lou. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lou, just back to your opponent for tomorrow, Ryan, obviously. He's from the northeast. He plays his format more than most. On paper, he seems an easier draw than a James Wade or an Nathan Aspinall, who he's knocked out. But do you see it that way?
No, absolutely not. I think he's beat Nathan Aspinall, he's beat Josh Rock, he's beat Rob Cross. That's all three players in the top 16 in the world. He'll relish the challenge tomorrow. I think that's what I would do if I was him. I'd be looking forward to it and thinking, well, I've got nothing to lose, and he hasn't, to be honest. If he doesn't win, then he'll probably look at it and think, well, that's a great achievement. £40,000 on the rankings, it's a good achievement, but he's got nothing to lose. And for me, I feel like I've got everything to lose. My opportunity is to win another major, of course, but I'm going to have two tough games to get through. But like I said, I just won't underestimate anybody. I never would. I didn't underestimate Jonny tonight. I knew it was going to be a tough game, and I won't do the same with Ryan tomorrow.
Yeah, he actually said that he doesn't feel pressure when he's playing someone statistically better than him, only when he's playing people below him in the rankings. So do you think that might put a bit more pressure on yourself, or when you're in a different position now, looking down at the competition?
I was going to say that would happen to everybody I play.
Yeah. How was that when you was in his position a couple of years ago?
Sometimes when you're playing someone that's higher above you, I felt more pressure, because I felt like if you can win and your name's in the headlines, it could change your life. And it did when I beat Michael in the 2021 UK Open. It changed everything. So of course there's a chance for Ryan to put his name in lights. If he beats me, the reigning champion, then of course he's in a final. All these great things can happen for him. So you can think about it in the moment, especially if you get a chance to win. But Ryan's not been in this situation very much, so I don't know how he's going to feel. He might feel really relaxed and be fantastic, or he might feel the pressure. Who knows? But I know I've been in this position so many times now. I know what to do, how to react, and how to cope with these long games. So of course it's in my favour, but that doesn't mean nothing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.